Oh, when you're walking against the boat, it really feels as though you're moving. Wow, the open Aegean out there. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I recently went on my first Viking Ocean Cruise. Over the course of a week, we sailed from Athens to Venice. I've taken Viking river cruises in the past, but I've never been on one of their ships at sea. In this video, I thought I'd tell you about what's similar, what's different, and see if I can help you figure out whether you'd like them both, or if you should really steer toward one or the other. Let's start in the atriums. The decor on both ships is very similar. If you like Scandinavian design and Norwegian art, you'll really enjoy Viking regardless of the body of water. See what's going on down there. The strings are gone.
Let's get all together. We have a week to be together, so it's ready to start to each other.
The atrium on the ocean ship rises several levels. It's a great place to hear live music, to play games, to have a drink, or to relax with friends who came along with you or who you met on board. In addition to libraries dotted throughout the ship, you'll also find one here in the atrium. There's also a desk where staff can assist with travel issues or other cruise questions you have. The atrium on the riverboat is more compact, but still has amenities including the coffee bar, the main desk, internet access, and the library. Depending on the size and age of a riverboat, another library may be elsewhere on the ship. I've seen it both ways. The atrium on the riverboat serves as the key hub while on board. Next up, your cabin. Obviously, the cabin is larger on the Ocean Cruise, but square footage aside, features and amenities are basically the same. So this room is double the size of a river cruise?
Probably, yes.
The decor is similar, as are the beds and the bathrooms. Everything is very familiar. If you like one, you'll like them both. Freya conditioner, body wash, shampoo, body lotion. Wow. Nice big shower. It is spotlessly clean. There we go. Turns on all the lights. View of the Rhone. Got everything we need, including a refrigerator for cerveza. Good sized bed. Even though the ocean cabin is larger, I didn't think the cabin on the river was too small. You can store luggage under the bed, there's plenty of closet and drawer space, and the staff will keep it clean and organized for you throughout the day. If you want more room, you can always choose a larger cabin. They have suites you can select when booking. And now what everybody's waiting for, the size of the bathroom. Not bad for a boat. Good size shower. Plenty of fancy soaps, conditioners, body washes. Let's look at your cabin views to the outside world. Even though we prefer to purchase a lower priced cabin because we'd rather be in port or roaming around other parts of the ship, we still upgrade to a room with a French balcony on river voyages. That gives us a sliding door with a floor-to-ceiling view of the towns and countryside the boat sails past. Yep, here it comes. Can you see it? On the Ocean Cruise, the lowest graded cabin is what we purchased, as it came with an actual veranda. There were no French balconies on the Ocean Cruise. I personally wouldn't pay extra for a private veranda on a river cruise. If you open the sliding door, you can sit inside your cabin, see the world float by, and still feel as though you're outside. And it won't be the greatest view because we're still in port, but our own, yes, just pull hard, our very own balcony. Next up, the ships. On the ocean ship, you'll be one of around 1,000 passengers.
Viking Heimdall.
The river cruises we've been on had around 200 or so guests. There are more places to eat, more places to get a drink or a snack, and more areas to sit and relax on the ocean ship. There are also pools and a spa. As you can imagine, there are just many more amenities at sea overall. Not as many as some of the really large cruise lines, but still many more just because of the size of the ship. Plus, ocean cruising is designed for more fun at sea, and there were people on board with us who just enjoyed the pools, the bars, the spa, and the entertainment. Since this was my first ocean cruise, it was also the first time that I was introduced to guests who just seemed to enjoy cruising, maybe even more than some of the excursions. What's interesting is that even though the ocean ship carried 5 times as many passengers compared to our river voyages, it felt less crowded. If you're a traveler who prefers to stay by yourself, doing so on the river takes some effort. On the ocean, it's easy to find a place to sit by yourself at meals, in the theater, or at one of the onboard bars. With river cruising, you're going to meet people whether you want to or not. I found you actually have to make an effort to meet people on the ocean cruise. That's never been a problem for me, but it might be for others. Which sounds more appealing to you? That will tell you which you'd like better. River cruising with Viking does immerse you in the areas where you're sailing. Ocean cruising with Viking does that as well, but they also have onboard events and services geared for relaxing at sea. Now to the food. As I mentioned in prior videos, I'm not much of a foodie. The ocean ships have specialty restaurants. On the Viking Jupiter, the ship we took on our Mediterranean cruise, they had Manfredi's, an Italian restaurant. Italian food is one of the foods I do really like. And at the buffet, they always had sushi, they always had pizza, and there was a gelato bar.
Do you know what's on top? Eggplant.
Really?
Yes. I guessed eel, and she said, no, it's eggplant, but would you like me to make you some eel? She said if I guessed correctly, I could have as many as I wanted. Vanilla, gelato, mango, and guava.
The ocean cruise has quite a few dining establishments, and a couple of them require reservations and the dress code. Not super fancy, basically just no jeans. On the river cruises, there's really only one main dining room and sometimes the Akavit terrace depending on the ship, but the menu is the same everywhere. For just a variety of food, the ocean cruise wins out. But the nice thing about the river is that every day part of the menu changes to highlight regional cuisine from the local area.
Here we go. Actually, no, but...
And every night before dinner, since all the guests on the river eat in the main restaurant, the head chef would come out to tell us about the menu and what those regional specialties were. At the fancier restaurants on the ocean cruise, oftentimes the waitstaff would tell us about the food and how it's prepared.
Alright, so with your main course tonight, we have this Berlinger. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's the grape coming from California. And it's going with your beef brisket.
For onboard entertainment, there is more of it on the ocean cruise.
Mesopotamia,
think about Hammurabi's Code, or think about Abraham, the patriarch.
On our cruise, we had an historian and an astronomer present lectures each day.
So it will be there, our tourists close to the horizon, and then not far above it, 2 stars close together.
There was also live music in various venues across the ship, including a few larger production-style shows in the main theater. There's also trivia in one of the lounges.
All right, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Explorers Lounge. At exactly 5 minutes, we're going to be starting our Name That Tune. So for those who are just walking in, please let me know if you want. That's number 9. Now for number 10, we're going to be slowing things down. This is a beautiful rock song, but it's more on the slower side, okay? This is the song.
The river cruise didn't have that large a variety of offerings. Again, I feel the main point of river cruising is to be out in the towns and countryside around you. For me, part of the onboard entertainment was to sit and watch the landscapes or to marvel at going through the locks. There will be locks, and I'll never tire of watching the boat go through them. Still, there was entertainment each night after dinner on our river cruises. On our last river cruise in France, we had former members of the Gypsy Kings perform for us. One night, a French lounge singer sang quite a few Edith Piaf songs, a dance act the next night, then a band that played French music through the decades, and at some point, there was trivia. It seems everyone around the world loves pub trivia. It isn't the amount of entertainment offered on the ocean cruises, but what they did have was tailored to the region. After the main evening entertainment had concluded, you could stay in the bar for more music and dancing. Both ships also offered daily port talks. The cruise director tells you a bit about where you'll be docking and describes the excursions available, both the included and the ones that you could purchase for extra.
We of course have pre-recorded our port talk for Katakalon, myself, Verity, your cruise director, along with Corinne, your shore excursion manager. We will bring you all of the history, culture, and of course all important shore excursion information.
Overall, I think our river cruise excursions were more active than those on the ocean. Again, I feel that's because river cruisers want to be out walking and seeing the local sights. Both river and sea offer an included excursion each day, and by included, I mean it comes with the price of the cruise. That's one of the reasons I like Viking. Once you pay for the cruise, pretty much everything is included, whether at sea or on a river. If you want more, you can purchase excursions that are more specialized or have additional features such as a cooking class. We always do the included excursion and then explore on our own in the afternoon. On the river, you're generally docked in a location where you can just walk on and off the ship and easily get into the heart of the city either on foot or by public transport.
I see nothing. It's Game of Thrones out there.
On the ocean, of course, you may find yourself docked farther out from the main part of the city and reliant on Viking to get you to your destination.
So today we are going to be together for about 3 hours and 15 minutes. We will explain first of all the program of our tour, of course.
As a result, the river cruise excursions are much more likely to be more walking focused with minimal bus rides unless you're going to a destination far from the river. On our recent ocean cruise, however, there were 4 locations where we relied on Viking to transport us to the start of the excursion. Also, because of the ocean cruise we took, generally when we woke up, we were already in port for the day or we were very close to docking. That's similar to the river cruises. On the river, though, you generally can stay much later in port, sometimes heading out around dinner time or even later. I like that as you could dine and watch the boat sail in the evening. This also gives you more time to explore your location as you may not have to be back to the boat too early each day. So which type of cruise is for you? That depends on what you like. I assume you're already looking at Viking because you'd like an adults-only cruise without a bunch of nickel and diming, and you're more interested in the itinerary than what's on the ship. The basic offerings are the same. The size of the ship and the onboard experience are different. If you'd like to learn about the local culture and also enjoy more on the ship, both in terms of food, drink, and entertainment, the Viking Ocean Cruise is probably for you. If you think you'll find yourself wanting to get back on the ship a little earlier to go to the spa or hop in a pool, again, that's the Ocean Cruise. There isn't as much to do on the river cruise ship except meals and the evening entertainment, so you don't want to be spending an entire day on the ship when it's docked. I felt a bit more immersed in the local culture on the river. I had more time in ports on the river cruise, and it felt a bit more tailored to where we were sailing. I mentioned this on the last video, but we also had better luck with the included excursions on river cruises as compared to our Mediterranean trip. Also, you can just see more in your destination on the river cruise, whether you take the included excursion, explore completely on your own, or try a combination of the two. And as much as I like pools and hot tubs, I don't necessarily want to travel to another continent and spend too much time in them. Whichever you choose, I highly recommend doing your own research about your destinations to figure out what else you want to see. Every time we ventured off on our own, we found a hidden gem that wasn't on either an included or a paid excursion, and we really enjoyed it. River cruising fits more into my vacation style. I'm sure I'll be on another Viking Ocean Cruise in the future, but I'll definitely be on one of their river cruises soon. I already have one booked for later this year. If you've done both ocean and river, let me know in the comments below what you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe as I'll be adding more travel videos shortly.